Well, YouTubers, Fortune Cookie 45 LC coming to you from the Hot Lead Zone, and tonight we're going to discuss a video response to Spencer Horrell. Spencer Horrell is interested in getting into bullet casting, and his question is, what are some of the common bullet shapes for the 45 Colt that I might be interested in casting? Well, you talk about bullet shapes, you talk about bullet designs. And they all fall into certain classifications, so we'll go into those right now. Now, any discussion about bullet shapes or bullet designs has to start with your basic target wad cutter. Now, there is no wad cutter mold that you can get for the 45 Colt, but it's very common for 38 caliber. Wad cutters have a flat nose and is shaped like a tin can. And they're used for target shooting because when they go through a paper target, they cut a nice clean hole. They can be used for short range hunting, but they're not very good past 50 yards. If you're going to shoot targets or go into NRA competition bullseye shooting, the wad cutter is the bullet for you. It's also a good plinking bullet and a good recreational target shooting bullet. Now this one happens to be the 148 grain Tumble Lube bullet by Lee, available in 6 cavity molds and 2 cavity molds. Now bear in mind that these are also available in hollow base, which allows lighter powder charges, and also if you use a hollow nose, it's called a cup point. So those are the variants of the wad cutter. Now the next bullet style or bullet shape that we're going to discuss is your basic round nose bullet. Available in all calibers, this happens to be a 230 grain round nose for the 45 ACP, but can also be used in the 45 Long Colt or 45 Colt. Has a flat base, 2 grease grooves, and a round nose. Great for functioning. And this is a good all-around utility bullet that can be used for any general shooting, target shooting, recreational shooting, plinking. It can be used for self-defense because of the sheer mass, the heavy, big bore round nose bullet. Not the best for hunting, but it can be used. And the variants of this bullet are the hollow point and also the hollow base. Hollow base would be almost like a miniature mini ball, but the hollow point is quite common. And you can cast those also, but it takes a special mold to do that. These were cast from a Lee mold, some of the more popular molds that Lee makes. Available in 2 cavity and 6 cavity. Now the next bullet shape, bullet design we'll discuss is perhaps the most popular for the 45 Colt and for any number of revolvers and even auto pistol shooting, is the semi-wad cutter. And what you have here is the 200 grain Lee semi-wad cutter patterned after the Hensley and Gibbs number 68, but all the companies make this bullet. Lyman, Seiko, RCBS, Lee, all make this bullet. 200 grains, very good bullet for the 45 Colt. Also the 45 ACP. But an even better bullet for the 45 Colt would be the heavy 262 grain semi-wad cutter you see here. This happens to be a Lee, but again, all the companies make this bullet. Now because of the weight distribution and the bearing surface, semi-wad cutters will stabilize and shoot more accurately at longer range than your wad cutters. And they're very effective bullets for hunting because of the shock delivered by the big me-plat and the heavy weight, but also great for defense shooting and even for target because when you shoot paper with these, they punch a nice round hole also. And the penetration is available because of the heavy weight in hunting applications. Now, of course, if you buy the molds that cast hollow points from Lyman, say, you can get the variant of the hollow point in these designs. One of the defining features of the semi-wad cutter is this shoulder, which used to be thought to cut a full caliber hole in game, but it's been shown that doesn't really happen. But it does cut a full caliber hole in target paper, and that's a very useful feature. Now you leave out the shoulder, and what you have is one of the most popular bullet styles there is for the .45 Colt, and that is the round nose flat point. And this is the classic bullet for the .45 Colt. It is a 255 grain round nose flat point, and all the companies make these bullets in their molds. Now this happens to be actually more like 265 grains, but these are very heavy and they have a great deal of shock value, and when you take it to the heavy bullets styles, you have the what they call the round nose wide points. The meat plats can even be bigger, and you have real heavy weights for extra penetration driven at fairly high velocities. These are the best hunting bullets there are for the .45 Colt and any of your big bore revolver cartridges. They're oftentimes gas checked. And you'll notice here it has two crimping grooves so that you can actually crimp it in the bottom groove and make extra room for powder in your cartridge case. So YouTubers and Spencer Horrell, gotta ask yourself what you want to do with these bullets, and depending on your use, you've got a bullet style and a bullet shape that'll fill the bill. See you next video. Bye for now.